The night was unusually quiet when Ayan found himself staring at the old photograph again. The one where he and Mira were laughing under a monsoon sky, drenched but radiant. That photo was the last piece of warmth in a home that had turned into a museum of silence. 3 years had passed since she left, but her laughter still echoed in every corner of his heart. He had spent those years building walls around his emotions, convincing himself that time could bury the pain. Yet some wounds are not meant to heal. They just learn to breathe differently. Every morning he'd brew 2 cups of coffee out of habit, place one near the window, and watch it go cold. A ritual to honor the ghost of love he still believed in. Mira had been his soul's reflection. She spoke less, felt deeply, and saw the world as poetry. Ayan had always been her balance. Calm where she was stormy, logic where she was heart. But sometimes love isn't enough to bridge 2 souls torn apart by dreams that move in different directions. He still remembered their last conversation. Mira had wanted to go abroad, to study art, to find herself, as she put it. Ayan couldn't understand why she needed to leave him to do that. The argument had spiraled into tears and silence, the kind that kills words before they're born. She left without saying goodbye, leaving only a note. Maybe love also needs distance to breathe. That night, Ayan realized something. You can't hold a bird and expect it to sing. He let her go, but the emptiness stayed. The days blurred into nights, and he lost track of who he was without her. But fate, cruel as it was, had its way of bringing unfinished stories back to life. A month before her birthday, he received an envelope in the mail. No sender, no return address. Inside was a painting. 2 souls standing apart, but connected by a golden thread that glowed like sunlight. On the back, in her handwriting, it said, "Some bonds never fade. They just change form." Ayan's hands trembled. His heart, once numb, began to beat again, not in peace, but in longing. He didn't know where she was or why she had reached out after years, but he felt her presence in every brushstroke. Something within whispered, "Your story isn't over yet." The following weeks were restless. Ayan tried to ignore the painting, but it was impossible. It felt alive, like it breathed in rhythm with his heart. Every night, he'd find himself drawn to it, tracing the golden thread with his fingers, wondering if Mira still thought of him. He decided to find her, not out of desperation, but because something deep inside, maybe his soul, needed closure. He started by contacting her old friends, searching art galleries online, following every faint lead. Days turned into weeks, and still, nothing. Until one evening, a curator from Delhi called him back. She showcased a collection 2 months ago, titled Soul Speaks. Each painting had a golden thread connecting 2 figures, the curator said. Ayan's breath caught. "Do you know where she is now?" "I'm afraid not. She mentioned leaving soon. Said she needed to finish a conversation." Those words hit Ayan like a thunderclap. Was that conversation meant for him? He traveled to Delhi the next day, visiting the gallery where her paintings still hung. One canvas stopped him cold. It was the same photograph of them laughing in the rain, recreated in her brushstrokes. But this time the figures weren't together. Between them flowed a stream of light, and across it, a bridge half built. Below it was written, "When one heart waits, the other returns." He stood there for a long time, surrounded by strangers who couldn't feel the storm raging inside him. That night, he sat by the Yamuna River, staring into the reflection of the moon and whispering her name. For the first time in years, tears fell, not from sorrow but release. A soft breeze brushed his face, and in that quiet moment, he felt her presence. Gentle, forgiving, real. Sometimes, souls speak without words. The next morning, as he prepared to leave, his phone buzzed. "Unknown number, Ayan?" a voice whispered. He froze. It was her. "Mira, I didn't think you'd come," she said softly. "But your soul did. It found me before you did." They met at a small cafe by the old street they once walked daily. Time had changed them. Her eyes held a calm maturity, and his smile carried unspoken forgiveness. For a moment, neither spoke. The silence was enough. It said everything they couldn't years ago. Mira looked down at her cup. "I ran away, Ayan. Not from you, but from the version of me that couldn't love herself. I thought I needed the world to find who I was, but every painting, every color, led me back to you. Ayan sighed, his gaze soft, and I kept looking for you in everything that felt empty. She smiled faintly. Maybe we were always meant to meet again, not as broken halves, but as whole souls. They talked for hours, about pain, art, healing, and how silence sometimes says more than words. Mira told him how Soul Speaks was born, an art series about invisible connections between people who never stopped feeling each other, even across distance. As the sun set, she handed him a small wrapped canvas. "This one's yours." When he opened it later that night, he found a painting of two souls standing side by side, the golden thread now looped into a complete circle, glowing like eternity. Below it, she had written, "When souls speak, distance disappears." Ayan finally smiled, not because he got her back, but because he understood that love wasn't about holding on. It was about becoming whole enough to meet again. That night, the 2 cups of coffee by the window weren't silent anymore. The air hummed with peace and his soul whispered softly, "She heard you."